This video and channel is for adult collectors only. Before we get into the video, make sure y'all like, subscribe if you're new. I mean, come on, what are you doing if you're not? Sub to me by now. My content is fire. From shows and reviews, videos, stop motions, tour reviews, tour photography breakdowns, music occasionally. My Instagram and TikTok are all linked down below. And yeah, let's get straight to it. Welcome to the stop motion review of Siege Commander Class Jetfire. I figured this guy's getting re-released. I might as well do a stop motion review on this guy, and people are getting him in. So, taking a 360 look at this figure, this dude is a beast. He is huge, he is chunky, he feels nice and weighty. All of the Siege type greebly details that we don't really see too often on too many Cybertronian figures, the few that we get after Siege, because they're more G1 cartoon accurate. All the details are just great. The minimal paint apps that he does have is cool. There are some issues with the paint that I'll get into later on in the video in terms of QC. But the overall look of him, the feel of him is great. Pre-pandemic figure going crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Everything just feels so nice on this guy. But let's take a look at that head sculpt. Look at that pretty boy face Jetfire's rocking. This is a pretty clean head sculpt. No real paint issues. The silver and blues are nice. A side profile of him, it looks very clean, very photogenic type head design and sculpt here that Hasbro did. I'm really blown away by it actually, but I do prefer it with the head, with the helmet thing on, and I really love the helmet. No ears, which is a little bit of a bummer. I might pick up the upgrade kit, but again, I really do love the helmet, and I do prefer it with the helmet on. Taking a look at the two guns, they can combine, and there are ports in the hands that you can put it in, and that looks great. Slapping some blast effects in there, having him do some action and some shooting poses, and you can put them two separately in his hands, and that doesn't look too shabby either with some blast effects up in there. Now, the infamous Siege Jetfire blast effects, he has these two big ones, and they can split apart into 3 separate pieces, so you could have 6, which is nice. And then he has these 2 flatter guns, which are pretty cool, some nice detail and silver paint on there. And I like to mount them on the bottom of the legs. There's a port on the red, they just slap right on there. I like the way that looks. And then he has these 2 smaller guns, which don't have any paint on them. You can slap them on there. There's those ports that flip out of the wings, and I like the way that looks. That's how I do it, at least. And you can flip them up. The ports are on a hinge, so you can do some pew-pew and some action shots with those guns on there, like so. And there is these 2 slightly bigger guns. Again, no paint on them at all. Some nice sculpted detail, though, on all 2 of them. And you can combine the smaller and that gun together. And I like to plug them on the ports there, the slightly bigger guns. And it makes... Or you can plug the bigger guns on there. I just realized that doesn't look too bad either. So trying that out, that actually looks pretty good. I actually kind of like that. Now you have the big boy all armored up, looking spicy as always. Then he of course has the chest armor, which you can plug in. I don't really like the way that looks. It just looks a bit too bulky and weird to me, but hey, it is an option. And taking a closer look at the armor, it is nicely sculpted and painted with some red and white and black on there. You can open up the compartment, and you could slap his helmet in there too for storage in vehicle mode, or if you just don't want him to have it on his head. One of my favorite features about this guy is you could flip the Autobot logo to the Decepticon logo. I'm not going to display him like this all the time, but that is an awesome option for those of you out there that want that. Articulation time! I love this attention to detail when you open up the hand and the 5mm peg goes into the hand. Oh, so good. The waist swivel is really stiff on mine, and that's about as far as you could go, which kinda does suck. The ankle pivot never ceases to amaze me. Transformation time! don't know what it is about flipping the front landing gear out, but it is so hard to do. There is a nub to get your nail or finger in there, but even that doesn't even work. You have to get like pliers or an X-Acto knife type thing and pluck underneath just to get the thing flipped up. It's so annoying. Nice little feature on the landing gear is that the wheels are actually pinned in and they do roll very nicely, and the wheels are actually a separate piece. The black piece that connects to the wheel is a separate piece from the white panel that flips out with it, so that's pretty cool. Nice attention to detail. Now a 360 of the jet mode. Very sleek, very Cybertronian obviously. I really like this. I'd like it better than the thrilling 30 liter class jet mode. A lot of nice sculpted details that still are prevalent here. He's got the big jet boosters, the big red backpack up there. I really like the blue translucent plastic that they used. Everything, the paint is nice, but there is a little bit of issues I'll get into here in a minute. And yeah, I'm just really digging the way this looks. The landing gear is nice. A solid and compact jet mode, even though the bottom does get a little hollow, but other than that, very clean jet mode in my opinion. There is one QC issue, that there's red paint right there bleeding through on both sides of the cockpit, and then it's towards like the blue translucent piece on the other side, and the blue cockpit piece does open up. I have to flip down the nose cone, and the nice detail inside of there, it's like gray, dark gray, almost black plastic. I really like that attention to detail. I forget what you call this on the wings in real life planes, but you can flip that little piece down. It's for like air suspension or something. There are ports on the back of the thruster, so you can plug in the blast effects like that, and that is pretty nice as well. There is a port on top of the red backpack to plug the chest piece and all the guns together. I don't really like the way that looks. It looks weird. So I'm gonna show you how I usually configure all the weapons onto this jet mode, like right now. Now let's take that big ugly blob off the top and let's store these weapons underneath the wings. I combined one of the bigger guns right there with the second largest black gun to do this thing that looks pretty good. I just figured it out while I was recording. So that's pretty much what I like to do with these, and then I just leave the chest piece off to the side somewhere because I really don't care about storing everything. Another really cool feature about this guy is that you can flip out some pegs to have characters ride along JETFIRE as he's flying through the skies of Cybertron. You flip out those black pieces, and then you flip out the red hip pieces by raising up the skirts, and then you flip up the 5mm red port there. And you could have characters holding onto his undersection as he's flying through the sky, and that's just an awesome feature for toy photography and stop motions. Overall, as you can tell, I really love this Commander Class JETFIRE. He's easily one of the best, or if not the best, Commander Class figures, and one of the greatest Generations figures that Hasbro has ever produced, in my opinion. But them Armada Optimus might be rivaling him, I don't know. But all the features he has, like the flip out handles, the hand articulation with the 5mm pegs that go in, all the guns, the blast effects, all the detail on him, and just the sheer size, no real hollowness to him. I just love how this figure feels, how he moves. And the paint apps, while it's minimal and there was a little bit of issues, did come out clean overall. And if you can find this guy, he did get reissued, but he is starting to sell out in places. If you can find them on Big Bad Toy Store, they do restock sometimes. I'd definitely pick this guy up, and I'd give this guy a solid 9 out of 10. I give it 1 point off because of the paint mishap on the cockpit, and the joints are just a tad bit loose in certain areas, like the left arm and The 5mm joint that goes into the hand is a little loose when you're moving the gun around. It does flop just a tad bit, but other than that, perfect figure. I think that wraps up the review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye! Stay tuned in to the channel because the next stop motion review will be the new Leader Class Skyquake. I got him coming in this Friday at the time of this recording. Should have the review up in about a week and a half.